Welcome back. We find ourselves once again between some seasons. We just wrapped up Summer Slash. We're about to start our Weird September lineup, which has some pretty cool films in it. Dave and I are finishing that lineup, and we're going to surprise the boys every week. Actually, to be fair, I think we gave them the list this time. We didn't give them the Summer Slash lineup, but we give them a sneak preview of the next 2 months of the show and all the crazy stuff that we're going to be doing. But what we're going to do tonight is a watch party. It's kind of like a bonus episode. We're going to be talking about The Punisher 89, which was a Marvel movie before Disney Marvel, and even before Marvel Studios, as most people know it to be. Joined as always by Nicky Lates, Dangerous Dave, and Double A. And Adam told us a horrible story about some video that he had to watch before the podcast started. And it's not something you want to hear before you start a podcast, so we'll go right into the theme song, and you can just know that something very disturbed happened right before we started recording tonight. But otherwise, it's going to be a great show. But according to Adam, he said it was something that the Punisher an activity would engage in. But I would only say maybe if they were guilty. We'll find out.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers Podcast.
Here's some headlines worth mentioning, some home video headlines, I should say, kind of jumping at the bit to get started. Okay, so after the success of the MLB 30th anniversary Field of Dreams game that was scheduled for last year, but they redid the anniversary event because of circumstances, you had Kevin Costner out on the field with the White Sox and the New York Yankees. They came out of the cornfield, at the cornfield where they shot the movie in '89, and then it immediately went to the charts. It went #1 bestseller on Amazon in both Blu-ray, on-demand, and DVD, which was incredible. It's a classic movie, contemporary classic. Other news, Dark City, the television series, is in development, according to the film directors, Alex Proyas. There's also a legacy sequel coming out to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids called Shrunk. Josh Gad is supposed to play the grown-up version of Nick, and they're saying that Rick Moranis is coming back to play Wayne Zielinski. He's expected to return with the original director Joe Johnston. He did
nice.
Rocketeer. Yeah. So here's his lineup. He did Rocketeer, Jumanji, and of course he did the original Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Any thoughts on any of these headlines?
Wait, hold on. I got to interject.
What?
Are you seriously going to skip over the classic October Sky?
No! Boom, boom, boom.
I feel like there's a handful of movies. There's a handful of movies that we talk way too much about, but never review.
Bringing it.
We've never done an episode about October Sky, but that's Dave's The Hobbit. It keeps coming up, and like for me, what grinds my teeth is having to bring up. So October Sky will come up, and Dave has to talk about it. And there's a couple other movies that we're like haunted by certain films that are just haunting us on this show. Anyway, we broke our rules already. We were going to try not to talk over each other, and fuck it, it's already fucking ruined. Way to start it off, Dave.
October Sky out. So
yeah. Wow. Okay, so we'll go to some messages from our sponsors and affiliates that keep this show on track while running, so we can give it to you. I'm flustered and fucked up. All right. We'll be right back after these messages.
all right.
Grab the link in the podcast notes or visit our website for a 7-day free trial of Stars. Speaking of Field of Dreams, the 30th anniversary edition, 4K, Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and digital. You can grab the link in the podcast notes to get that from Amazon.com. Now streaming on Redbox, Richard Dreyfuss and Mia Servino star in an action-packed crime thriller story. An ex-mob boss takes a deadly path of revenge where he and his family are targeted in a home invasion robbery. So stream Crime Story instantly on Redbox on demand today. Rated R from Paramount Pictures. Love to Get Media offers a subscription box for physical media and DVDs. You can start out with boxes as low as 10 DVDs for a month at only $20. You can go up to 40 Blu-rays a month if you want to. If you sign up for the subscription box, you're going to get 15% off your first order. They got a variety of boxes going on. They actually sent some to us. Since we love horror movies so much, we got titles like Wishmaster 1 and 2, which I think are the best in the series. They actually, I don't think they meant to do this. They sent us some out-of-print DVDs, Mad Max and Dead Alive. I'm going to keep those. They're collector's items. And also, getting a little more sentimental, and maybe this is what Loved Again Media is all about. They sent me a copy of Edward Scissorhands. And when I realized, I've seen the movie before, but hold the DVD in my hand, maybe you'll realize why I loved it. I want you to go check out what they're doing. They're a mom-and-pop business. You can support them by going to their website at lovedagainmedia.com/binge. If you visit them and sign up, you're going to receive 15% off your order of $20 or more. And if you sign up for their mailing list, they're doing a giveaway right now for a binge watcher. After this podcast, they're going to give away $50 in store credit. So again, visit them at lovedagainmedia.com/binge. Now back to the show. Feature presentation is Punisher 89. Get the boys back on the line and see if we can save this fucking show. Here we go. Yo.
Hey. Am I?
Hey.
All right. Tonight's movie is Punisher 89. Some dude named Frank Castle goes after the mafia that murdered his family and transforms into his alter ego called the Punisher. And if he can't stop the crime, you know he's going to punish the criminals. Played by my personal favorite He-Man. Motherfucker, I can't even get the goddamn movie out. These guys have fucked me up all the night and even screwed up one of the ads. Fuck it. All right, go ahead. You go ahead and say whatever you... Go ahead, Nick. Tell them what the movie is.
The movie's amazing. Wait, I'm talking about the movie? You put me on the spot. Wait,
yeah, what is the movie, Nick? Tell me about the movie.
The movie is about Dolph Lundgren being badass. He's got black hair. He looks cool.
The character's name is Dolph Lundgren. I didn't know that. Dolph Lundgren.
The character's name is Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren played by Dolph Lundgren. Because what happened there was you interrupted me while I was trying to tell the audience at home what the movie of the week was. Generally giving them the plot, and then he went, "The Punisher."
I did that, or Adam did that?
What? I didn't do anything.
I didn't do it. I don't know what's going on.
I love it.
Dave, if you can get this back on track, let's see if you got some trivia or dangerous facts that you found out about the movie.
We got some facts there. So this movie was released worldwide in 1989, except the U.S. because it was released by New World Pictures, who were, I guess, going bankrupt and were bought by another company, and they were just not interested in theatrical distribution. So we didn't see it here in the States until video in 91. But it's kind of become a cult classic since then. So we all seem to love Dolph Lundgren, but actually Christopher Lambert was the original choice.
Wait,
but
what?
Could not,
I did not know that. Wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he was unable to accept the role because actually he broke his ankle or hurt his ankle at the time, so he couldn't do a physical role at that time while he was healing. Now the director Mark Goldblatt has only 2 other directing credits to his name: Dead Heat with Joe Piscopo and I think Treat Williams, which is actually a fun movie, and an episode of Erie, Indiana. Otherwise, he has no other acting credits. However, this guy is a very prolific editor. So I'm going to list you off just some of this guy's credits. He has way more than this, but these are like the tops. Oh crap! The first 2 Terminators. Starship Troopers, Showgirls, Predator 2, The Last Boy Scout. God, this guy's list goes on and on. Like John, you were excited. We were talking about this yesterday. Like
I got your back on this one. Chappie, he edited the film Chappie. He edited Armageddon. Nice. He edited Bad Boys 2. He edited Commando. He edited Predators 2. He's a great editor, actually. He's won awards. He almost won a Academy Award, I think, for editing True Lies, is the movie that I think he almost got that award for. So, what's funny is, I don't know if it's everybody's favorite part. Maybe we'll skip ahead, but we'll talk about his editing style in a minute, I guess. Let's see where. Actually, it is time for favorite bits and the ratings of how we think. So, let's go, Adam, Nick, and Dave, and then I'll jump in at the end.
Okay, you want me to talk about this amazing movie that I rented when I was a kid. I think I got it a couple weeks after it came out on VHS, and I was like, why didn't I see this in the movie theater? What are they doing? Because we all thought it was going to be a crap movie because we got used to bad movies coming out on VHS if it didn't go in a theater. But this was really amazing. My favorite scene in it is probably the scene where the old guy is the mob boss is being told by the other mob boss, I'm going to kill your kid unless you kill yourself right now. I don't know, like that. So there's so many messed up ideas that came out of this.
Did you not rewatch it for the podcast?
No, I did.
You're talking
What
about
do
the
you mean?
Yakuza. You're talking about the female, the lady boss, the Yakuza boss, talking to the Italian mobster.
Correct.
To differentiate what crime, what.
Yeah, I just
organization
want,
was.
I don't think they needed to know that one was the Yakuza and one was like the other.
Oh no,
regular
dude, that's
mob
a
boss.
huge part.
No,
'cause they have-
I know it's a huge
because-
part. If
because
you're Johnny
the-
Spoiler,
No,
then yeah,
because
that's
the
exactly
Japanese-
what you want to tell.
The Japanese mafia has a whole different style and culture, and they come in with a whole different method, and that's why the Italian mob can't keep up with them because they don't know their methods and they're not prepared to deal with it structurally. So that's an
Sure.
important detail. I
Sure,
think.
yeah, it's an important detail that you will experience when you watch The Punisher later because you should watch it later. But I just didn't want to reveal that because I consider it a mini spoiler. I like hide information so people can enjoy it when it comes up. So, but that's cool. But you couldn't help it.
But if I was listening to you tell me that, and I'm like, let's just say I'm just listening to you say that, I'm not going to go watch it because it's that wasn't exciting. I didn't okay. The mob boss.
Now they know one's a Yakuza boss. Did it become more exciting?
Yeah, it did because who knows anything about the Yakuza?
In your head it did. It's exciting to spoil it. I think that's what's really exciting.
That's not a spoiler. It's in the movie.
It
trailer,
is a
it's on the
spoiler if
poster.
I'm trying to hide information because I don't want to fill in all the gaps because it happens so late in the movie. So, anybody else like this movie?
I love the movie. Yeah.
All right. Well, since I'm next, I was actually really surprised by this. I think I kind of wrote it off because it was direct to video. I've not seen it until yesterday. This is actually really fun. I had a lot of good time with this. I have two favorite bits. I'll be real quick. The opening titles. We talked about the editor or director who's an editor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll let you go more into that. So let me go to my really favorite bit. And it's not even an action scene, and this does have good action, but like there's actually a great piece of acting in the middle of this movie between Louis Gossett Jr. and Dolph Lundgren, and it's what I'll call the "let me in" scene. Mm-hmm. He had me, dude. He had me. Louis Gossett Jr. brought a level of gravitas to this movie that could have he could have just collected his paycheck and phoned it in. I really I bought it. I was kind of surprised to see that level of acting in the middle of this crazy action movie. So, the let me in scene.
It was really good.
Yeah.
You can set the stage for them. You can say it's a jailhouse interrogation scene. You can.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Good scenes are waiting, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, all right, well, let me tell you where it fits in and all.
Well, I mean, I can go into how he's asking him to let him in because they were good friends and partners, and he's the Punisher. He doesn't tell him anything. 125 guys in 5 years. Let me in.
What's clear about that scene? They didn't get the same note from the director because Dolph
Lundgren
had no idea that was coming for him in that scene. He wasn't prepared to deal with that.
That's true.
You can tell. He's like, I turned my head because I'm the Punisher. Emotions.
It was kind of unclear what was going to happen, even if he did let him in. Like, hey, I'll help break you out if you just tell me you did wrong or something. Like the bottom line of it was kind of confusing to me, and maybe you guys have an answer for that. But I mean, I love the scene. I thought it hit some emotional beats that I wasn't prepared for, but
but
it was amazing.
You guys aren't rating it. We need ratings from you guys.
Oh no, I'm gonna say the opening credits. Like they explain so much of the plot, and it's so beautifully done. And like Dave said, it was like the way this guy edited it was just genius. And actually, the scene we all watched together. I know the audience doesn't know this, but we all watched the opening 10 minutes, and I love when they introduce a hero and kind of do it in shadows and subtly. So I would say the first like 10 minutes when they introduce the Punisher, and then he, of course, magically escapes from the explosion. I thought that was my favorite scene.
What, he escaped?
Remember, like the news
No,
reporters?
he just straight up blew up at the beginning of the movie.
He blew up, but you know, he magically escapes. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Adam, it's okay to tell people details about the movie. Do you know why? Because they might actually just enjoy listening to the podcast and never actually get to watch the movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing that happens. FYI.
I believe you.
What about,
He blows up
you?
at the beginning of the movie, okay?
No. You know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Johnny's
John?
spoilers take is coming. He's boiling over with amazing details and
I can't wait.
of the colorful illustration of the plot, his favorite scenes, and rating. What do we got?
My favorite scene is when the Yakuza shows up at the docks, and he's also at the docks to encounter the two mafias. As Adam said, the two mobs encountering each other. There's like a three-way shootout there at the pier. It's a great introduction to the real enemies of the movie. But every single scene in the movie is great. It's actually well written too, and the writer hasn't done much else. His first name is Bowen, I think, and has worked with Mark Goldblatt a couple of times and goes on to do some other things. But I like the way this movie is written. I like some of the dialogue, which is unusual for these types of movies. And I think that Dolph Lundgren is still the best Punisher. Granted, the one Punisher I have not seen is the new one who's done the TV shows. But I like him over the dude in the second one. But I will say, in Punisher Warzone, it has a better director. But she's like an art house director, which is also unusual. Go get an art house director to come in and make an action movie. That's unique in itself. But I think this is my favorite Punisher. And I'm ready to binge now. It's becoming a little bit more harder to find, which blows my mind because it used to be available everywhere. I saw that. And you don't need the director's cut, by the way. The director's cut doesn't give you any new information. So if you're tracking down the German Blu-ray of the director's cut, it's kind of unnecessary. It's literally, what does he do? He throws a guy onto something broken in the warehouse or something like that, and it goes through his chest. And so that scene, you see it happen rather than it cuts to it later. Something like that. It's only like 10 seconds of extra. It's like, here's 10 extra frames. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You don't need it really. It's not like a director's.
Yeah.
It's not the speech scene that Dave was talking about with 10 more minutes of just chewing up the fat. You know. It's a good movie. I've always liked it. It won out over.
It went out over what? All the other Punisher movies?
It clearly doesn't matter.
All right.
I've been
back in reverse order for binging.
I've been wanting to see this movie for years, and I'm just going to say, I'll just take the lead. I've been wanting to see this movie for years. It's always been on cable, and I've never actually finally watched it till today. So I'm just going to say binge now. This movie was freaking awesome. I loved it. Thank you, John, for recommending it.
All right, I'm gonna do old school. I'm gonna do 3 because there are 3 official Punisher movies, not including the TV show. I'm gonna say binge now, Punisher Warzone, but I'm gonna say make it a double feature and make it this one is your second movie. Binge now, Punisher Warzone, and then this one. It's gonna be a great Friday night. And then binge never, Punisher 2004. That movie sucks. I saw it once and never.
Is that the one with what's the famous
John
actor?
Travolta and Thomas Jane?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, to specify, Thomas Jane plays the Punisher, and to outdo this movie, I really think they were trying to outdo the original. Spoiler alert: the Punisher loses his family, and that's what makes him snap and become the Punisher, because he gets no justice for his dead girls and wife. But I don't know if that's comic accurate who the family members are. But in the Thomas Jane version, it's like way comic book. It's like there's a family reunion, and all 25 members of his entire family get killed. And they're like, we got to outdo Punisher 1. We got to make sure they forget Punisher 89. And God forbid should somebody talk about it years later on a podcast, 30 years after it gets released, and they're going to have to bring up the Thomas Jane movie. No.
It's awful. Like I just remember it being really uneven in tone. Like it tried to be funny, but like it was like really wacky comedy, and then just crazy action, like not good action, but I don't know. It was just awful.
The only thing that's good for is the Kevin Nash fight.
I thought that was good.
It's been so long, I don't remember.
I didn't hate it at the time, but it is definitely, I remember being uneven. The Punisher is clearly the winner here, 89. Dolph Lundgren all the way. Although I think this movie could have been without the Punisher. It was so well written. Does everyone else agree with that? Like the movie could have some just Dolph Lundgren as a guy. And they didn't focus that much on the origin story other than in a couple flashbacks and a couple scenes on TV. He could have just been like an angry vigilante with a past, you know.
Actually, that version is in Dark Angel where he fights an alien. You should watch that movie. He plays a cop fighting an alien.
Oh, nice.
I love that movie.
I'm gonna write that down.
Actually, it's Dark Angel, but what was the American name that you're talking about?
I don't remember the American. I don't remember the other names. Is it We Come in Pieces?
No, I Come in Peace. That's
I Come in Peace.
Right?
Yeah.
That's on. Okay, gotcha.
I think all the kids were talking about that at the time, but I might have missed that one.
It makes sense that you guys say it's well written because like the screenwriter goes on to mainly do indie dramas after this, like movies like Fresh and he wrote and directed Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. So like he mostly does like dramas. So there's a reason why like this is written taken seriously.
There's a cool like on camera trick in this movie where when you first see the like, Yakuza attacking and they're throwing like ninja stars and stuff, they throw this little ball with spike on it. And the camera cuts to the ball with the spikes rotating in the air real quick. And then it cuts to somebody getting stuck with the thing. And as a cinema technique, like indie filmmakers will look at that and be like, oh man, that works way too good. Why does that work so good? Because people wouldn't bother shooting that in between shot of the item itself flying through the air. Very cool.
You guys okay to jump into fan service?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, of all places, this comes from LinkedIn. Peter G., who's actually a writer from the Bleeding Cool website, wanted to remind us that we almost got a Master of the Universe sequel, and they scrapped it, and of course turned it into Cyborg with Van Damme. Then I wanted to remind him that we actually podcasted about the entire Cyborg series, and I asked him, have you seen Cyborg 2, which is also called Knights? Just to throw it back in his face. We'll find out.
Throwdown. Jeez.
Nice.
Well, because clearly he didn't listen to our Cyborg episodes. You know what I mean? He's aware of our show, but I don't know which ones he's listening.
Pwned.
Yeah.
Only teasing.
And since we're the best at knowing which movies you should watch, we'll give you some staff pick recommendations. They've already tuned us off. They from the first fight. They've already stopped listening. Okay.
No, they love that.
Staff picks. Other movies we can recommend to our audience. Let's go to Davey.
All right. So, well, since we're not bound to horror anymore, I'm going to mention this little, I think it's Norwegian or Danish movie called The Guilty. It's on Hulu. It's a limited storytelling movie. So, like, I think it literally only takes place in 2 rooms, the entire movie. It's about a 911 operator that gets a call and tries to help out this woman who's being kidnapped. I don't want to say too much about it other than, like, what happens at the end, things that you think are happening in the beginning completely turn around at the end. You don't end up where you start. And it's one of those movies that it lives and dies by the performance of the main actor. And of course, I think he did a great job. I don't speak Danish, but I felt it in the emotion. It's like, have you guys ever seen Buried? Like, again, it's a limited storytelling movie. So you hear a lot of phone conversation, and yet the story keeps moving along and you're like, what the fuck, what's going to happen? Like, is this person dead now? If you want to see just like a tense, good movie, check out The Guilty. Nick, have you watched anything recently, Nick?
I've watched. I finished Cruel Summer. I know it's a show. I know it's not a movie, but I finally finished Cruel Summer, and I thought it was beautiful. Remember that show where
the ending is?
Have you watched it? Yeah, the ending is crazy.
Yeah.
It goes over 3 periods of time. I finally finished it, and I would highly recommend this show. I would not normally recommend a show about teenage girls, etc., but I thought it was incredible.
The main girl now was also in Fear Street.
The what? What'd you say?
I said, is your wife making you watch this?
No. I actually really liked it. Yeah, I mean, we watched it
okay.
together. I mean, yeah, I mean, you watch stuff together. That's what happens.
Sure, yeah, I know.
When you're
probably
with someone,
good.
that's naturally what happens, right? But it's actually a good show. It is a good show. Dave.
I actually watched it because of you, Nick.
Yeah, and it's good, right?
I threw it
That's
on
what
with
I'm saying.
wife.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good wife show. It's a good show to watch with your wife.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
What about you guys?
Yeah,
I
who would have
saw-
thought the best show to watch with your wife is a show about a girl that gets locked in a basement?
Yeah, who knew? I mean,
Who knew, right?
Right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
who knew?
gosh. Masters of Horror season 2 Pelts episode with Meatloaf is
I love that one.
Yeah, it's so good. It's Dario Argento, which I'm already a fan of because of his giallo work. But this is gore horror. It is something to behold.
I love that.
Are not
it's
squeamish.
So good.
If
And
you're
he
squeamish,
just, like,
you might want
I
to
don't-
give it a pass. But
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's just
No, go ahead, spoil
the
it.
ending. It's just
Oh,
the
dude, that
is just
ending, oh
crazy.
my gosh.
You know what I'm talking about? It's insane. Yeah, I love it. It's so good.
I feel like you have to
Yeah.
tease some details, otherwise there's no point to watch it.
Let's just say Meatloaf is cutting his skin. Let's just say that.
let's
right?
just say that. Just leave it there.
Yeah.
Just leave it
I don't
there.
know. I don't want to. Yeah, it's pretty.
I was
I
like,
love
I
it.
couldn't believe it. I was squealing alone by myself watching it
Yeah.
because I was like, what are they doing? So,
Adam, are you watching a bunch of the Masters of Horror episodes? By the way, because
I am. I'm trying.
That's one of my favorite series. I love that series.
It's so fun. The good ones are so great, and the bad ones are so bad. But
it is like you're either at the top of the knot. It's either the best or the worst. Like yeah.
John
And
Carpenter's cigarette burns in the first.
Cigarette burns is
so
incredible.
good.
But then
And
again,
then-
his next one is like terrible.
It is.
So
it
bad,
is.
yeah.
Pro life
It's
was
so
awful.
bad. Yeah, it's
It was-
terrible. Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah.
Well, you guys got me to watch the Takeshi Miike one and that. Oh my god.
Oh, that one's intense. They couldn't even. They didn't even air that on Showtime. You know that, right? Like,
yeah.
I feel like Johnny Spoiler would like that one. Have you seen that one, Johnny?
No.
Okay. Well, what? I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Yeah,
I feel like you just screwed me up on purpose because I had to take my headphones off to figure out what was. I heard something and I had to figure out what it was. I had no idea. I have no idea what you asked me. I have no idea. What
sorry.
you asked.
Sorry. We were asking you about the Takashi Miike episode on Masters of Horror, the end of the first season. If you'd seen that, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's seriously good. So
you will not forget it once you see it, except for the name of it, because nobody.
I watched it once, and I'm like, I don't need to watch it again. Yeah.
I feel like it was like The Intrepid or something like that. That's not what it is.
Oh no, Imprint.
Imprint.
That's
yeah.
what it is. Yeah. It's been like 15 years or something. It's been crazy. Yeah.
Wow, you're amazing. What a memory.
That's what I do.
I think we need a recommendation from Johnny Spoiler now.
What about you, John?
Let's see. I went back and watched Django Unchained, and actually, after rewatching it, I actually maybe like that more than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It might be
really
my favorite of Tarantino's.
Wow. I think it's definitely better than Once Upon a Time.
I won't. I'm gonna disagree as far as whether it's better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it is definitely watchable. I was flipping through Pluto TV, I think a week or two ago, and it was on, and like I got sucked in for at least 20 minutes. Like it's easy to get sucked into that movie.
It's a great movie, but I think Once Upon a Time is better. I personally, but yeah.
The other thing that I'll mention briefly, without spoiling it for Adam's feelings, is the Deerskin director's movie Mandibles is actually at theater at home type stuff. I'm watching it on Vudu, and it's basically like a French Dumb and Dumber that also has a giant fly in it.
I saw the trailer for this.
What's the name of it?
About it. Wow.
mandibles. You know how the fly has a part of its body that's
Okay.
called a mandible?
Oh, nice.
Although
adding
my
that to the
expectations are
list.
pretty high, so I don't rate it as highly as deerskin, but that's what set the level. Like deerskin's up here, and so anything he does, since rubber, is going to be at that deerskin level. And so, and I'm trying to pronounce his name. I want to give him proper respect. I was like listening to interviews to try to hear the French language to see if I could hear what his name was, because I thought his name was Quentin, just like Tarantino, but no, it's like Quentin Dupieux. I thought it was Dupree or whatever, or Dubois. No, it's like Dupieux, as far as I can tell. Somebody at like Tish in New York was trying to interview him, and they were struggling. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, I got no chance. You know, I'll probably never talk to the guy, but I watch most of his movies, so definitely I like something about his style for sure.
I like rubber.
Nice.
All right, folks,
I've never
thanks for
seen
tuning
it, so I
in.
always want to watch it.
Well, I can't even say goodnight without being talked over. All right, good night, folks. That's another great episode of Binge-Watchers Podcast. We'll be back next week.
Oh,
John just leave.
I think he's off watching some really amazing movies.
Sounds amazing.